Testing 1 2. This thing on. Alrighty, let's set this up. And, oh. Well, hello. So today we're gonna be watching a very and yes, I said watching. We're gonna be reacting to something because I finally learned how to set up the whole, system of transferring things and all that such and such. And I wanted to just react to some horror animations. I might make a playlist called Illustration Horror where we just look at horror shorts and animated horror and stuff because I like watching horror things. So considering I do have limited time on this camera, let's just get straight into it. So today, the story we are watching is called, and don't worry about all the lights. Yes, it is daytime. Okay, I'm not like Jay from the Cub Scouts or Corey Kenshin. Now let's turn off all the lights because I don't have time to record videos because all my family loves to make noise. Also, I live on a main road, so you might hear some every now and again, but you'll forgive me, right? Yeah, you forgive me. Anyways, yeah. So today we're gonna be checking out what's that noise? Anyways, we'll be checking out Llama Arts, and the story we're reacting to today is called a Manchester horror story. I cannot talk today. Anyways, let's go.
This is a story about how I became a 30-year-old man who is secretly afraid to be outside after dark in cities. I live in Manchester, in the UK, and it's widely regarded as a relatively safe and multicultural city. Good transport, friendly locals, and plenty to do.
That's what everybody says. Aw, come on now.
I don't live there anymore, but I'm proud to be from there, and I will always have one hometown. This took place in 2016, and at the time I was working for a company that hired me to work on contracts. So 4, 6, sometimes even 8 months abroad, and then 2 or 3 months at home. So when I was home, I made sure to see family and friends as much as possible, whether it be meeting and playing video games, a drink at the bar, playing sports, or traveling together. The incident took place when I was on my way home after a night out drinking, and I write this 4 years on since it happened. I still have PTSD from the incident, and think of this as my way of telling you all to be careful out there, as well as this being an opportunity for me to talk about it. Those who know Manchester know about its quite frankly amazing tram system. It's affordable and easy to understand. There is a tram station right near to my apartment, just outside the city center. I had been back in the country for 7 days and had arranged to...
Y'all, my... Sorry.
meet my friends in the city for a reunion of sorts, drinking, dancing, and catching up. You know how that goes. It's important to note at this point that at the time there was a homeless gentleman that adopted the tram stop near my apartment as his own. He would always sit at the top of the stairs leading down to the platform, and whenever I used...
Okay, this is like my 5th time pausing it, but I'm making a prediction right now. He a demon. The homeless man. Now, I'm not saying all homeless people are demons, but I'm saying this one, for this story, he gonna manifest and morph into this hideous amalgamation of hands, eyes, and butt cheeks.
I used the tram, I would always see him without fail. It had even gotten to the point where we exchanged a friendly nod to each other every time. But this time, on the way to the city to meet my friends, everything changed. On any normal occasion, he would be sitting under the shelter at the top of the stairs, either asking passersby for money or just saying hello. But as I approached the top of the stairs, around 20 to 30 meters away, I saw him, and he stood up straight. Almost too straight, with his chest out, just glaring right at me in the most menacing way. His brow was furrowed, his jaw was clenched, and he was breathing heavily. I could see his chest rising up and down with speed from now 20 meters away. Maybe drugs was involved or something had angered him.
Oh, yeah, Dolphin.
Why
Okay.
me? I thought. Now,
Just turn
I'm
the other
not
way.
the biggest guy in the world. I'm 6 foot and athletic, but I don't believe violence is the answer.
You are 6 foot and athletic. If you don't power drive his ass, what is he gonna do to you? He gotta be malnourished. Shut up. He gotta be malnourished. Okay? Like, his thing. I'm like what, 5'9", 130 pounds, and no homeless man can fight me. I could. You better run them hands with me. Me, if I'm fighting for my life, at least I'm gonna fight. Let me shut up.
Is the answer in any case. I'm not easily intimidated at all, but the
Obviously,
way
you're 6
this guy
feet.
looked at me sent shivers down my spine. I immediately looked down after we made eye contact, and then looked ahead, because I
I do
thought
the exact same
maybe
thing.
it was just a glance from him. Then,
But just-
I looked back at him again. When I was even closer, and his eyes were still on me.
Ooh,
This
hunchback.
time they were wide, and he looked unhinged like he was ready to attack. I looked away again because at this point I felt I had to ready and prepare myself for a potential confrontation with this guy.
Get into that.
When I was close to
some
him,
wound
I
stains,
looked back again,
Put the paws up.
and he took a step forward, watching my every move,
Oh,
looking
look at
me
his
up and down as
toes.
if he was assessing my weaknesses. As I approached the top of the staircase, he was turning his head as I moved. I knew that this was not normal behavior from him, or anyone for that matter. I thought I have to
Possessed?
address this, because he's freaking me out, so I stopped, met his
No,
gaze,
just
and pointed my body towards him just
walk
before
away.
I went down the stairs.
Walk away.
And I calmly
You-
asked
you're
him,
literally
"Is
passing
everything
him
okay,
by.
mate? Can I help you with something?"
Yeah, your life.
This game
Oh my god.
Nothing. I got absolutely nothing as he looked into my eyes. I could hear his fast breathing at this point through his nose, and he looked like he was having some sort of episode. So I moved on.
You think? He
and
on that
quickly
crack?
went down the stairs. What the fuck has gotten into this guy? I thought. I almost felt bad
drugs,
for him. At the
Fentanyl.
halfway point of the stairs,
Not
I
the good
looked
kind.
behind me to see him standing at the top, looking down, directly at me again. I could only describe the look he gave me as bone-chilling.
Why he standing like that? He's standing like how them little kids be when you yell at them. Mom, Mom, I want the Xbox now. Okay, wait. Okay, I'm not gonna pause it anymore. I'm not gonna pause it no more. Ah, man, come.
He looked like a predator that had found his prey. I kept moving as I didn't know if this guy had a weapon or what his intentions were at this point.
Thank
When
you
I
for
got
being
to the
smart.
bottom of the stairs, I turned around again, and to my shock, he had walked 4 to 5 steps down, still standing and glaring at me with the same disturbed and angered look. He was clearly stalking me now. I could feel my heartbeat in my ears, and sweat was forming on my forehead and palms. Luckily for me, the platform was very busy, and the tram I needed to catch was approaching, so I quickly immersed myself amongst the crowd of people getting onto the tram and found a seat. Wouldn't you know it, when I sat down and the tram started moving, I looked back towards the bottom of the staircase, and there he was.
He a
Just
ghost.
glaring at
Here he
me with
goes.
this horrific,
He a
sinister
ghost. I got no
grin on
prediction.
his
He's a
face.
ghost.
I did not feel safe. I felt targeted. His head moved and followed the tram, looking me in the eyes as we moved away. The entire journey to the city I felt on edge, anxious, and all I could do was think about that guy. When I eventually got there, my friends automatically picked up on the fact that I seemed a little off, so I told them about the situation I was just in, which they just dismissed. saying that I was probably just being paranoid and that he'll be gone by the time I get back home. I agreed with them because I realized that he is usually only there during the daytime, so I enjoyed the night. We all drank, laughed, and even met some cute girls. Before I knew it, I was hammered, to the point where I had to look at my phone with one eye closed. My balance was off, and I felt like I could throw up at any second. It was around mid...
My phone camera just turned off. I hate when it happens. But anyways, he's hammered now. You know what that means, right? His whole stuff is off balance. He can't fight no more. If I was him, I would go back with friends. I'm taking my friends with me, and we jump in the old man together. But if he is not a threat, then well, I guess we just assaulting an old man. But I ain't taking that chance. Anyways, left, right, left, right, up, down, left, right, left, right. Alrighty.
Around midnight and time to go home. So I said goodbye to my friends and arranged to meet the next weekend due to the success of this one. The last tram was approaching and I had to run drunk as a skunk to make it in time. I got onto the tram and when I got a seat and caught my breath, I remembered what happened at the tram station on the way back to the city. I felt sober suddenly, and I was honestly on the verge of an anxiety attack. Until I remembered that I never usually see the guy late at night, which was comforting for the remainder of my journey. The tram arrived at my stop and I got off. I just stood there for a second, surveying my surroundings. The platform was empty. The skies were clear, although dark. The air was warm, and the only sounds were the nearby traffic and the tram leaving the platform. I remember it like it was yesterday. I looked towards the bottom of the staircase in the platform leading to the street, and I took a deep breath. I approached the stairs and looked towards the top. Much to my relief, he wasn't there. Stage 1 over. Stage 2 was easy. Get to my building, which was about 150 meters away from the stairs. As I slowly walked up the stairs, trying to make as little noise as possible, my heart was in my throat. All I could think about was what I would do if he was there. But I was drunk and I didn't think fast enough. I arrived at the top and looked to my left.
6 feet just
What do you
rocking.
know? He's there. And as soon as I look at him, his head snaps, and he's looking me in the eyes with the same terrifying look, almost foaming at the mouth like he's won a prize.
Foaming
He
at the
stands
mouth.
up slowly.
Is this nigga a
Turns
dog?
to face his body towards me. At this point, I realized how tall he was. About 6'2", huge gray and dirty beard, almost skinny with a lean body type. I was almost pissing myself.
Never mind.
So to
Never
break the
mind.
tension, I just nodded at him and told him,
Just
"Good night, mate." And I walked on quickly towards my apartment.
Just start.
Suddenly heard a deep, hoarse voice say, "You got any spare change?"
No!
Loud
Ooh.
and obnoxious. Which I
Ooh,
turned
that
and
was-
replied quickly whilst I was walking backwards. "No, mate. Sorry. Have a good night, though." And walked on again. I was free, and my anxiety was disappearing. All I was thinking about was getting to my building as fast as possible.
That's why you run.
Then,
I was gonna pause it.
Step into every
Oh
moment.
my god, man. Well, anyways, while we're on commercial break, if I was him, there are 3 options, maybe 4. Okay, the first option is just take a different route. Take a different route than you usually take. Second option, okay, is well, bring your friends with you to your apartment. Third option, now look, I know he's drunk. I know he's a little inebriated, but look, these still work. these still could work, okay? Okay. Fourth option, okay? This is really important. Depending on how drunk he is, because he says he's hammered. But even some hammered people can still, I mean, you got... That's what I would do. Fourth option. Now, I don't mean to be a little crazy, but you can... What's it doing, mate? Oh!
I heard what felt like the loudest, most aggressive voice ever. Hey! I stopped, and I turned around so
Damn.
fast because he made me jump and scared me. He was holding a knife, and it was pointed directly towards me.
Oh,
The nightmare scenario was playing out now, and I held my breath as he walked slowly towards me. I was definitely sober now, and I
Wait.
weighed up the options. I run and take a risk, or I start to negotiate
Take a risk?
with him.
What do you mean?
I
You
thought, if there is an ATM nearby, I could get some money and just go home. He was around 5 meters away, with the knife pointing towards me.
back
I
away
wasn't going
slowly
to let
while
myself
he's...
die like this.
Well, you
He
are.
then said, I'm going to ask you again. Do you have any spare change? I couldn't tell whether I wanted to throw up or cry, but I had to get
Oh
out of
my
this situation.
god.
No one else
Couldn't be
was
me.
around that I could see or hear,
Couldn't be me.
and it was on me to
I mean,
get
it's
out
the
of
UK,
this.
so...
I said to him, Look, there is an ATM. I couldn't even finish my sentence, because he had thrown the knife at my face.
Oh.
It hit me just above my eye, cutting me on my eyebrow, taking a
He had
chunk
no
of
knife.
skin
If you
clean
don't...
off,
Wow.
and there was blood in my eye, partially blinding me, and there was blood all over my face.
Freak all
almost
that. Put the
immediately.
paws on him.
I was blinded and breathless.
You're blinded
I
in
fell
one
to
eye.
one knee in shock, and I barely
The
saw
knife
the
is
knife
right
in
there.
front
Pick
of me
that
on the
mug up
ground
and get
in
to
my
work.
drunken, shocked, and partially blinded state. So I reached for it as fast as I could,
Okay.
but it was too late. He had already picked it up and tackled me to the ground. I yelled a guttural and deep shout for help down the street as he tackled me, holding the knife, a sound I didn't know I was capable of making, but the adrenaline was coursing through my veins now.
Oh, now the adrenaline kicks in.
He had the knife in his right hand and plunged it down towards my face, and the only thing I could do was put my hand in the way.
Oh.
I screamed in pain as the guy was on top of me. He had put the knife clean through my hand, in between the knuckles of my middle and index fingers to be specific.
Dang.
I started to push back, and realizing how much stronger I was than him. The tip of the
Now
blade
you
was
would.
about 5
Listen to
inches
this.
from my face, and then a miracle happened. I heard the voices of a group of people yelling,
Cavalry.
accompanied
cavalry.
with their fast-running feet towards me on the tarmac. The guy's
Not
grip
jumping.
on the knife was weak suddenly, and he looked behind himself, clearly seeing the group approaching. They shouted again, yelling,
Get off him!
and he jumped off of me.
Ew.
Unfortunately for
Why
me,
you
he
sound like
took
that?
the knife with
Get
him
off it.
and ripped it out of my hands as he jumped to his feet and swiftly ran into the nearby woods. There were 5 people in total who came to my rescue.
Dang.
2 of them initially chased the guy
messed
into the
him
woods
up.
before I shouted.
No, he has a knife!
We can see
Hearing me
that.
say this, they let him go and started to call the police. This incident changed me for the better, and I wake up every day appreciating everything in my life. After the incident, I was rushed to the hospital and I had surgery to reattach the nerves in my hand 2 days later. The guy who attacked me is in prison now for attempted murder.
Yes.
The police showed after the incident